Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Supernatural episode 1404 titled Mint Condition, which premiered Thursday, November 1st, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording on November 2nd, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes, so let's start the clock and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, what's great about this one is that they actually give you specific dates. So, October 28th is when, I guess you could say the hunt or the victim is first attacked. So that's Stuart by that Thundercat toy. And then it goes all the way up to November 1st, which is when Dean is driving back home and he actually says it's the official end of Halloween. So there's that, which brings us to my episode reminder of the fact that this is a Halloween-specific episode. So there is that. But moving on to the storylines for this episode, it's pretty much only one that was pretty much centralized on this Halloween haunting case or ghost possession case, and that is pretty much a killer toy turning into items, usually of the horror genre memorabilia, being possessed by a vengeful comic book store owner trying to get revenge on his former employee who was stealing merchandise from him, not realizing that the boss takes it out of his paycheck. So Stuart is the thief. He is attacked by a Thundercat. He's injured by a chainsaw, and then he's almost hunted down by David Yeager of the horror film franchise that Dean is a fan of. So there's that. And the last scene of the episode shows a security guard at the morgue finding the mannequin of David Yeager going off saying trick or treat. That gave me a little bit of a scare because they usually don't have the final scenes being back to the case. It's usually the final scene of the episode is something on the characters we know. So either the brothers or it's one of our recurring characters. It's never back on the case that we just finished. So it gave me a little bit of scare there. So there's that. So tidbit-wise, though, we don't see Jack or Castiel, but it is mentioned that they are out on a hunt for some training for Jack. So there's that. Also, we got a time reference of the fact that Dean has been locked away in his room for the last week. So it's been a week since the Dean has been brought back to the bunker in 1403. So there's that. Also, Dean still views all the apocalypse hunters as strangers living in his home, the bunker, which makes sense since he's been hauled away and not given enough chance to get to know them like the 3 weeks that Sam has over him. So there's that. Also, a hunter named Riley was mentioned, and it's someone at the bunker that Dean does not know who they are, but Sam does. So there's that kind of a side profile there, or a side conversation there that we only hear Sam's side too. So anyways, death tally and tally. The funny thing about this, or I guess it shouldn't be funny because of the topic, is the fact that no one actually died in this episode. Usually there's a bunch of victims that have the case be brought to Sam and Dean's attention, usually, but in this case, that wasn't the case at all. The fact that they got wind of this possession storyline is because the victim survived and he posted his story on the internet and it went viral. So he ended up surviving the whole thing. So it was actually a surprise that no one actually died, and I'm not counting the ghost because technically he's already dead. So that was pretty cool, and since it's a Halloween episode, I wasn't really expecting that. So anyways, there's that. Moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I will say that we find out the real reason why Sam hates Halloween, which I'll get to in the moment. And it's not what I expected, so that's why it was shocking. But top 3 favorite moments, I will have to say I absolutely love that we got to see Dean geeking out at the comic book store and then over his horror franchise, especially with Dirk, his comic book store counterpart. So it was great to see Dean geek out and be passionate and know very detailed information about this stuff and him being a fan. And it was just great to see that. Also, if you notice in the comic book store when they first enter, in the background there is a costume or a mannequin with the costume of the Red Hood on it. And Jensen was actually the Red Hood for Halloween. It was up on his Instagram and everything. And at first, I saw that first before the episode came out. So I thought it was pretty cool when I saw it. That's like, hey, that must have been where he got it from. So that was a little fun little Easter egg there. That was cool. Also, we do find out in this episode that Dean likes horror movies because even though his life is pretty much a horror movie, as Sam puts it, Dean always liked the films because in the end, he always knew that the good guys would win. And it was just great to like kind of escape from his own uncertainty in his life. So it was very interesting that we found that out about Dean, but it's him telling Dirk. It wasn't something that he was sharing with Sam or anything like that. So that was something I really liked because all throughout the whole 14 seasons, Dean's love of horror films has always come up, especially his love for Halloween and everything like that. Plus, I really like the fact that they brought back the Hellhaisers movie, which was first introduced in season 2 in that Hollywood style episode. So that was great. I'm pretty sure they did David Yeager before too, I think. But yeah, I just really like all the callbacks to all the previous Halloween episodes, any other mentions of Halloween that we've had, or the horror film genre in general in the Supernatural universe. So that was pretty great there. Also in the comic book store, you got to see all the different like superhero stuff. So it's like we got to see Dean drinking out of a Flash mug. We got to see lunchboxes of Superman. I think there's one of Scooby-Doo. There's one of the comic books of Justice League. And like establishing all the DC universe characters. I mean, we know Batman, Superman, Sam and Dean always bring that up. And then Dean brought up Batman and Robin as matching costumes idea. Bert and Ernie he brought up too as well. Shaggy and Scooby, Thelma and Louise. He actually mentioned a lot of them, but it was just great to see what is considered iconic series for Sam and Dean to have grown up in. So that was cool. So that was a extensive favorite there. Another favorite I had was the fact that we finally got to know why Sam hates Halloween, which has been established in episode 101, the very first episode. And just, I always thought it was because Halloween is just 2 days before his mom died. Now that I think about it, I'm recording it on the day that Mary's death is on November 2nd. I'm recording it. I just realized that now, like shit. Okay, but it turns out that Sam actually hates Halloween because of a bad Halloween party he went to in 6th grade where he ended up embarrassing himself in front of a crush, which I wasn't expecting at all. I really thought I had to deal with the fact that Mary died 2 days after Halloween. So it was just, yeah. So that was a surprise there. I like the fact they actually finally told Dean as to why, because it's been a mystery for all of Sam, for what, since he was 12? For like 20 years of his life, it's been a mystery. So it was great to have that little tidbit thrown in there. And yeah, and it's something that Dean didn't know about either. So it was pretty cool there. And then another favorite of mine was the fact that we got the different temporary counterparts. We have Sam and Dean finding themselves in the comic bookstore character co-workers, Samantha and Dirk. The fact that it was the 2 S's with the 2 D's, and then they had their own like very similarities and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was very interesting how not only they initially pegged their counterparts as kind of like a jabbed joke, but like in the end they ended up being very similar to our hunters. So that was pretty cool there. But anyways, top 3 peeve moments. Let's move on to that. The only really peeve I had was the fact that we didn't get to see Jack celebrating his first Halloween, because that's technically what this episode is, I believe. Yeah, I think. Maybe? I don't know. But it would have been our first Halloween centric episode of Jack, so I kind of wanted to see that. And then also the fact that they left us off with Jack being sick and coughing up blood. So it was like they left me on a cliffhanger on that. So that was a peeve that it wasn't addressed. But I did like the fact that this episode was pretty much based around the brothers only. So that was good. What moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The fact that it is a Halloween-centric episode. kind of plays back to its own specific horror film franchise that is resembling the Halloween movie franchise that we have. Similarly, I think, or at least that's the vibe I get. So there's that reminder. Moving on to random questions. I actually didn't have any random questions immediately after the episode aired. Now that I think about it, I still don't have any. I mean, this was pretty much a good episode too. It's pretty much a good filler episode. They did talk a bit about like Dean trying to adjust to not being Michael's vessel anymore and the guilt that came with that. So there's that in regards to like progressing the main storyline, but otherwise the case itself was it was a filler one, but it was great to see them get back to basics as well too. So that was cool. But moving on, predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 1405, it looks like something is killing hunters, and it might be attached to some unusual vampire activity. Or that's the gist I got from it. But the synopsis, though, for 1405 reads that after a hunt gone wrong leaves Maggie's whereabouts unknown, Sam, Dean, Mary, and Bobby race to find her, but what they find are their own worst nightmares. So Maggie is the apocalypse hunter that I think Lucifer brought back to life in the finale last year. So there's that. We do see the return of Mary and Bobby once again, so that'll be interesting to see. I think the episode's called Nightmare Logic. I'll put the title on the screen, whether I'm right or not. But that's pretty much it, guys. What did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about all that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all the good stuff, all from one place. Go check that out. I'm a little behind, but I'm trying to catch up as best as I can. Also, WordPress account, link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place once again. Everything I post online is attached to my WordPress account, so keep that in mind there. Pretty much I combined both of them together just now. Wow, it's late right now when I'm recording, so I do apologize. But also, Livejournal entry link down below is found. That's where you'll find a detailed recap of the episode as I watch it for the first time. It's pretty much a jot-noted summary. It helps things keep in line for me. Hopefully it'll help you too, but it includes quotes, in-moment thoughts, questions that might have popped up, stuff like that. But otherwise, guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry if there's any mistakes in the end there. But I hope you come back next week to see what they say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.